All right. Praise the Lord, everybody. We're not going to have choir singing, prayer request. Let's get right into service. I'm preaching everybody. No. Come on, what's this measure with you? Come on up, everybody. I'm just having a little fun. I thought y'all was in a hurry to start service. Everybody home. Well, you ain't not bothered. Well, you ain't not bothered. Come on.
Souls of men shall live and live on forevermore. Everybody will be happy over there. Everybody will be happy. Will be happy over there. We will shout and sing His praise. Everybody will be happy over there. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers will be singing round the clock till that land when no one ever knows again. And the Christians of all ages will join in the final song. Everybody will be happy over there. Everybody. When I was drifting out to sea, I had no rain, so joy. Let's get us another song ready and stand and shake hands. Hug each other. Tell me love.
Thank you.
How many unspoken prayer requests do we have? Someone had a spoken prayer request to say?
Well, this is Alan's sick. Just remember the Doty family. I don't know if anybody heard that Robert Doty got killed in the car wreck there yesterday. Just remember this.
Amen. Somebody else?
Y'all remember Pat Booth? Still got good days, but have a hard time.
Remember the college kids who are young adults who are going back on college today? They go back today and they'll be gone until May.
Amen. They need a prayer, don't
Yes.
they? Wait, Andy.
Remember Bobby that broke the bread a lot?
Oh, yeah. Amen.
Glad that, eventually he did. I don't have no doubt that he don't give it up gone. He gives the message that God gives.
Right.
Pray that that message will touch the heart of those. We all need it. I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Stay off God's word. It's all.
Amen.
Come on, thank God, I'm able to see here today. I've chosen to be somewhere else. I've chosen to be here for my family.
Amen. Amen.
I remember my family down home there. know you're all right, you know where you need to be, like you there. I'm here, so I know where I'm at. In God's house, God's way.
Amen.
You know, I'm gonna stand with Jesus wherever I'm at. You know, I feel in my heart, I feel from my heart, God check me in the face. When I'm up there, W, and I believe the Lord is gonna use me up there.
Oh, yeah.
I believe He gave me a vision.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I got excited this morning. I got up and I'm sitting there and the Lord showed me a message, and I tell you, I've been excited ever since.
Amen.
You know, wherever I'm at, I said, Lord, I just said this way, do it will, you know. And I pray that I'll be obedient, you know, however you want to use me.
Amen.
And I'll pray that I'll have the strength to be obedient, whatever He wants me to do, wherever I'm at.
Amen.
Love the Lord, love the church. Again, I thank you for everything you've done.
Amen. Love you, that's why. Amen. Somebody else?
Remember, Phyllis Seist, Phyllis family, Finner family, they used to live here at Lundale back in the early 50s. And she run the cliff right down there.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Amen.
She's been down there a long time, hasn't she? Go ahead. Amen.
Brother Roger, I want you to remember, I had three cousins on my dad's side, and the brother and sister, there's two sisters and a brother, and two of them has cancer, and the other one, they're putting her on a liver transplant list, and they're all brother and sisters. So, I want y'all to remember them when you pray.
Amen.
And my niece Holly, too, my dad's, she has cancer, but she has mouth cancer, and so she's supposed to go in the hospital at the end of this month. So I want y'all to remember her. Like I said, our
Amen.
family just got a high rate of cancer. So y'all remember all of them.
Amen.
Remember me and my family.
Like Mildred and Linda. Miss them, and I'm not here, don't we know? Anybody else? Go ahead.
all from my family.
Amen.
Brother Roger, I'd like church to remember Pat, she's up on my mind.
Amen.
No, Danny Vance, his nephew, died yesterday, we're not for sure how. Remember Danny Vance and Sherry,
Amen.
and also their salvation.
There's no more? Amen, Joe.
I thought that's what I did yesterday, and I was worried about that. But, things worked out, we could get the car home, we didn't go down the road for a couple of hours. Thought we'd be back in a few minutes, but it didn't work out for us today.
You never know, do you?
I love the Lord, my everything is new.
Amen.
Amen.
Lord. Thank God He got you here in time.
Remember Tammy too, she's still sick.
Yeah, she sure is. Lady. I miss somebody over there.
I want the church to remember me, remember my loss, my grandkids and my children's loss. Remember a friend of mine, her name is Evelyn Gibson. I was talking to her, and they said that she's been in the hospital, and they said that she had cirrhosis of the liver. So y'all remember her, and y'all remember my aunt, she's 86 and she fell, and she's in a hospital. And I love the Lord.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Remember Shirley Albright, I don't know if she got out of the hospital yet or not. Amen. But Chuck, you listen to the Lord.
Thank you.
Okay. Thought that was me, John, see you. Someone has a testimony they'd like to give while Jen's getting ready to come and sing. I know you've got two requests, I believe. Is anybody glad to be here today? Amen. Glad to be a Christian? Amen. You know, I shouldn't say glad, I should say happy to be a Christian. I become a happy person when God saves me. I was an old grouch. You've been asked to learn before He saved me. I don't know good to nobody, not even myself. But God took nothing and turned it into something in His eyes. In His eyes, I became somebody. Amen. I tell you, you can't thank God for something like that. Go ahead, Dan.
I just want to say that I'm glad I'm Christian and I'm glad to be here. Like I said, I really don't like missing church at all. So, you know, it's exciting. I remember I've been many times, you know, just can't wait to come to church. And I said, I'm just glad that I'm a Christian and I love everybody here.
Amen.
So, God is praying for me. And
Amen. Thank the Lord. Amen. Thank you, Jen. Bless the Lord.
Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder
Bless the Lord.
consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed.
Bless the Lord.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think of God, His Son, not sparing, sent Him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, He bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation, and bring me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow
Have you waited? That's all.
There is a blood that cost a life, that paid my way, death its price. When it flowed down from the cross, my sins were gone, my sins forgot. There is a grave that tried to hide this precious blood that gave me life. But in 3 days he breathed again and rose to stand in my defense. So I come to tell you he's alive, to tell you that he dries every tear that falls. So I come to tell you that he saves, to shout and to proclaim that he's coming back for you. There is a blood that sights the blind, that heals the sick, the lonely finds. It has the power to free the bound as chains they fall upon the ground. So pour it out to cleanse my soul, and let his precious glory flow, because it lives to make me whole. I owe my life, I owe my all. So I come to tell you he's alive, to tell you that he dries every tear that falls. this precious blood that gave me life. But in 3 days he breathed again and rose to stand in my defense. So I come to tell you he's alive, to tell you that he dries every tear that falls. So I come to tell you that he stays, to shout and to proclaim that he's coming back for you. So I come to tell you he's
God alive, amen.
Thank the Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
That's a beautiful song, isn't it?
Amen.
I mean, isn't it?
We know what you mean.
Ain't it good to see you all good for a thing?
Thank you now.
Maybe forget the mic. That Sunday's enough to remember what key was in. I know it ain't me. Lord Kevin, I've got 3 on it. I've got 4, 2, 5. Lord, y'all help me. Try number 3 then, Kevin. Mr. Joe Tyler.
One pair of hands for the mountains. One pair of hands for the sea. One pair of hands made the sun and the moon, and every bird, every flower, and every tree. One pair of hands for the valley, the ocean, the river, and the sand. Those hands are so strong, so when life goes wrong, put your faith to one pair of hands. One pair of hands, heal the sick. One pair of hands, raise the dead. One pair of hands, calm the raging storm, and down people were fed. One pair of hands said I love you, and those hands they were nailed to a tree. And those hands are so strong, so when life goes wrong, put your faith into one pair of hands. Thank you, Lord.
and singing here and there and around about, and every now and then since, I guess I was 14. Now I still get nervous up here. I don't know if all you singers are like that or not, but no matter how many times you sing, you want to do good for people that ask you to sing a song, and I think that's what it is. You're afraid you're going to mess it up or something. But I ain't going to, I mean. Oh, I'm going to take it back. Y'all ready for it? Okay. It's got number 4 on it. Y'all pray. I haven't really learned this one.
As I stood in the night with my head bowed low in the darkness and black as could be, and my heart felt alone, and I cried, oh Lord, don't hide your face from me. And like a king, I may live in a palace so high, with great riches to call my own. But I don't know a thing in this whole wide world that's worse than being alone.
Listen, Jim.
Hold my hand all the way, every hour, every day, from here to the great unknown. Take my hand, Lord, let me stand where no one stands alone. Oh, take my hand, Lord, let me stand where no one stands
You got me through it, didn't it?
Good job, bro.
Anything, Ken? Ken's got a request, so pray for him. I'm just ordering that song now, because, you know, we're not going to stand alone when we get to heaven, are we? We're not standing alone when we walk the earth here.
You're never alone.
Jesus walked right beside us.
They never leave us on the place.
That's right, and
Always.
little as much, too.
Amen.
And whenever you walk up on one of these snares and traps that the devil's got laid out there, and believe me, he's got them laid out there for us. Each and every one of us. Jesus will go and clear the way for you. Just as long as we hold on to his hand. I used to have the biggest problem in the world of trying to lead Jesus around, you know. And you can't do that. I learned that the hard way. No, you got to let Jesus do it, because we can't do nothing. It takes Christ to do it for us. And we're nothing in this world.
You trust in the Lord.
Keep your trust in the Lord. When you pray for Kevin, that's comes to say. That's short, Ted.
silver and gold
That's the Lord.
will be much. If I had to choose, I'd choose his touch. For without it, I am sure I'd die. I had to choose, this is what I cry. I'll choose the Lord. He's the one I love. 10,000 fair ones, He's the fairest of. I'll choose the Lord. He's my everything, and to beat it all, He's the King of Kings. Say what you want, He's the best around. You can search the world, but I've already found that He's more than gold could ever buy. If I had to choose, this is what I cry. I'll choose the Lord. He's my love. 10,000 fair ones, He's the fairest of. I'll choose the Lord. He's my everything, and to beat it all, He's the King of Kings. I'll choose the Lord. He's the one I love. 10,000 fair ones, He's the fairest of. I'll choose the Lord. He's my everything, and to beat it all, He's the King of Kings. I'll choose the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
You got another? Derek, you got one? James, you got one? Yeah, well, let's pray for Bob, then what he said.
Amen.
Yeah, cool. What about Uncle Jeremy? Do you got one? No? All right.
The lesson today is going to be from Hebrews.
Have your way, Lord.
Hebrews chapter 11, and I want to read a couple of verses out of chapter 10. I'm thankful for each and every one that's here today, and I pray that the message will be something that will stir your soul and make you a better Christian tomorrow than you was today. Because that's what this is about. This lesson is teaching us how to be faithful servants of the Lord and better Christians. Verse 30 in chapter 11 says, by faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. Now, if you want to turn to chapter 10, or 7 days, I'm sorry, after, look at chapter 10, I want to read you from verse 19 to verse 25. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiest by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way, which He hath consecrated for us, through the veil, that is to say, His flesh, and having a high priest over the house of God, let us draw nigh with a true heart, in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. You may be seated. I want to try to speak a few moments tonight. This afternoon, I'm not going to hold you very long. I want to keep the thought when the walls came tumbling down.
Amen.
Now, Mike preached on this, and nobody's ever going to beat what God did for him that night when he preached on his walls of Jericho. I believe that was the night that the whole church started marching around and even went out into the parking lot with him.
Yeah.
He made the statement in his preaching, how many wants to march with me? And as he went around the church a few times, the next thing we knew, he went out the front door and was out in the parking lot because the Lord had told him there may be someone sitting on the porch that needs to hear this. And at that time, you remember, we had trailers sitting over here beside the church and people living on this side of the church. So I am convinced that God had a reason for what he did that night. And it was so powerful, the whole church began to participate in what he was saying and what he was doing. Now this is what Joshua is telling these people, because he had inquired of God about the city of Jericho. And God had already told Joshua, I'm going to give you that city. Now, he has told me and you that he's going to give us a city someday. Is that right, church?
Amen.
St. John chapter 14, he said, I go away to prepare a place for you. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again. Receive you unto myself, that where I am there, you may be also.
Amen.
He has told us he's going to give us a city. Now he showed it to John the Revelator, and we all know what John saw. A lot of times you hear preachers preach about walls of jasper, gates of pearl, and all the beautiful things that heaven holds. And yet there's the writer that said the half has not yet been told what God has in store for those that love him and serve him. So these people that had been in captivity for 400 years were wandering in the wilderness until God sent a deliverer. I want you to know that we've been wandering in the wilderness of this world, but God is going to send a deliverer. Now I know he's already come as a baby in a manger down in Bethlehem over 2,000 years ago. But I want you to know today, my friend, that I still believe that he's coming in the clouds of glory as a King of kings and Lord of lords, and nothing is going to stop him. Nothing is going to hold him down. For you see, God has already given us the city. I read it here over in Hebrews chapter 10 where it said we can enter into the holies of holies through Jesus Christ. Now, there was a time in the history of the church world that you had to go through the high priest to be able to get to the church or to God. But Jesus became that high priest once and for all, tearing down the middle wall of petition. And if you don't know what that was a veil that was separating the holy place and the holies of holies. And only the high priest was allowed to go in there and offer incense and offer the blood of the lambs and the sacrifices for the people. But one day there was a man came from heaven that tore down that wall. Amen. I was not able to do it, and you was not able to do it. Abraham could not do it. Moses could not do it. They was a figure of the things that were coming. But this man Jesus took on flesh and blood like you and I. Now, I've always said this, and I believe it to be true. He could have come down in the form of an angel if he wanted to. He could have come down from heaven in the form of a God if he wanted to. He could have took any form he wanted to. But it was Jesus' desire and his pleasure to take on the form of the flesh so he would prove once and for all, no matter what sufferings you endure, no matter what kind of agony or pain that may come your way, you can overcome it in the blood of Jesus. You can overcome anything that comes before you in the blood of Jesus. You can conquer any enemy that comes before you. For one writer said this, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. There's nothing that the devil can throw at you if you give it to Jesus that can tear you down. Now people have said to me in the past, they have been people that have commented and said, I used to belong to church, but so did this, and they caused me to quit. If you quit church, you quit because you didn't trust God enough to turn it over to him and trust him enough to deliver you. Someone put a nasty article on Facebook the other day, and it was slamming Christianity and slamming the church, talking about the singer that wouldn't stand up and because she was a Christian and denounce homosexuality, and people quit buying her albums and quit going to concerts, certain people, and this woman put this post on there and said, thank you very much, Christian, she has quit church and she's no longer a Christian. Well, I want you to know today, she loved the money more than she loved God. Don't back it up, friends. Don't back it up. up, wrong is wrong. I don't care if it's the President of the United States. Wrong is wrong. If it comes from the dungeon, wrong is wrong. Friends, I won't back up. I ain't going to uphold her or tear her down or say anything evil against her. But when you give up on God, nobody made you do that. You made a choice to do that. Christianity is under attack. Not religion. You can have religion. You can go down to the courthouse and you can state to them what religion that you believe in. Nothing to be said. But if you go in the courthouse and you begin to preach and teach Christianity, you end up with a riot just like Paul did when he went to the Jerusalem church and began to preach Jesus Christ and Him crucified. That's the way it is. That's what's under attack is Christianity. And everybody knows that's the death and burial and resurrection of Jesus Christ. You can practice just about anything you want to practice. There's devil worshipers out there building churches. There's people out there that are worshiping Satan, that are building churches. They're holding rallies in the streets of the cities. They're recruiting new members every day that we live. More and more and more people in this world are turning to things like that, cults and religion, and less are turning to Christianity. Why is that? Because God said they would be a falling away from the truth. We're living in the days that Jesus talked about. I heard one minister say, well, the thing that you're saying doesn't apply to the Word of God. In other words, what's going on in the news doesn't apply to the Word of God. Wake up, preachers. Look around you. Jesus Himself stated some of these things that we are witnessing, and it's being broadcast over the airwaves every day. Why are there epidemics of drug use and alcohol use? Why are there epidemics of prostitution going on in our land? Jesus said in the last day, these things would come to pass. Amen. And He told the church, He said, lift up your head. Redemption draweth nigh. Look up, children. Any day now, the Lord is coming. I want to show you a couple of things in verse 1 of chapter 6 of Joshua. At least 4 things that you can find in that one verse. Here it is. The city was straitly shut up. Straitly means it was secured. It was on lockdown. The city was on lockdown. Number 1. And it said, because of the children of Israel. It wasn't on lockdown because of the Babylonian army. It wasn't on lockdown because of Syrian armies. It wasn't on lockdown because Roman Empire was going on. It was on lockdown because they were afraid of the children of God.
Bless the Lord.
Oh, I wish somebody could hear what I'm trying to say. You know why the world's kicking up its heels? They're afraid of the children of God.
Amen.
Hello?
Amen.
They're afraid of Christianity. Because it sets things in order and they can't do the evil deeds they're doing and be a Christian. You can't sing Christianity. You can't sing about God and still partake of the world. Hollywood can't get out there and act like the devil and still holler, oh, I'm a Christian.
No, you can't.
They can't do it. That's why they're afraid. They was on lockdown because of the children of Israel. Listen to this one. No one went out and no one came in. They wasn't going to allow nobody to come into that city and nobody to go out of it. If an enemy was among them, we're going to find them. Nobody's leaving here. Have you ever seen these, I guess these TV shows like investigations and somebody gets killed and they find a body and they say, okay, lock everything down, nobody leaves. Nobody leaves. Because somebody in this room done it. And we're going to find out who nobody's allowed to go. Well, here's what they were doing. Nobody is allowed to leave. Something's going on. They knew something big was getting ready to happen.
Amen.
And don't you let nobody in because the enemy may come in.
Amen.
You know, every now and then the church needs to lock down its borders.
Right. Amen.
Don't allow the enemy in. The enemy comes right in the church house and sits down beside of you sometimes. That's right, Chris. Do you know that the Scripture teaches that Satan himself can transform into an angel of light?
Yeah.
He can transform himself. I've met people before that was, oh my God, they are God sent. Man, what a nice person. And the more you get to know them, the more you realize, I was wrong. They're not so nice. Amen. We meet people like that every day because Satan can disguise himself. He can breach the barrier by coming in and sitting there beside you. Every church that I've ever known in my whole lifetime has had somebody in it at one time or another that was there to kill, steal, and destroy.
Amen. That's the Lord.
We've had them.
That's right. Yeah.
No, God, amen.
Pastor approached me down at the hospital the other day and he said, how's that church doing? I said, it's doing good. It's alive and well. He said, have you got people like us? Sometimes they're shouters and sometimes they're powers. Well, I guess we got a few like that every now and then. I don't know of anybody like that. We've had one or two pals around a little bit for a day or two, but I guess everybody goes through it. But what I'm seeing in all this is every pastor you talk to, they're able to give you that testimony. We've got some that really wants to work, really wants to see the church grow, that are in it for the long haul. And then we've got some that shows up once a month and wants to run everything.
Amen. Amen.
Pastor's coming out now. Hold on. Nobody was allowed in and nobody allowed out. And you step on. I about stepped on Jennifer's toes going in the bathroom this morning, and she said, don't step on my toes. And I said, no, that's coming later. Don't you know the old saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I understand she didn't want me to step on her toes because I had my boots on. So, no, we're not trying to step on nobody's toes. We're not trying to hurt anybody. The truth. Have you ever heard say the truth hurts? Yeah. Sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth also sets you free. Amen. You know why the truth hurts sometimes? Because sometimes we're dilly-dallying where we don't need to be dilly-dallying. Sometimes we're doing things that God is trying to correct us through the man of God. And every now and then He'll pick up a little old preacher like me that maybe you don't really care a whole lot for, and He'll use him to get the message to you. Because He wants to see if you're really going to hear it.
Bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord.
I've seen people, now I'm telling you this, and I'm honest about it. I've seen people, actually, they didn't put their fingers in their ears, but actually stop their ears up to the Word of God. Because they don't want to hear the truth. The truth reveals their wickedness. The truth reveals their darkness. The truth reveals what they really are. What is the truth? How many in here knows what the truth is? Amen. 3 letters in it. God. God is truth. Let God be the truth and never be a liar. Now, how does God speak? Right here is God's Word. Amen. Sit down, signified, witness in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses or more many times, and set apart. This is the only book in the whole wide world from the beginning of time to this present time that has never been disproved. That's right. Amen. That you can find an answer for anything you go through right here. Amen. Right. Not Harlequin, not Nancy Drew. Right. Y'all don't think I knew who that was, did Huh? You won't find your answers in none of those. But you will find it in the Bible. This is the truth right here. So what does the truth say? The truth says if you pout, you're doing wrong. The truth says love is not envious. It doesn't bump itself up. In other words, thinking I'm better than somebody else. Put yourself above your fellow man. It doesn't get mad. It's not ill-tempered. The truth is meek. Amen. Now this flesh gets ill-tempered. I'm going to preach it. This flesh gets sometimes. Paul said that the things that I would do, I do not, and the things that I won't do, I do. What he's talking about, the flesh hinders me from doing what I really want to do. How many people in here, you don't have to raise your hand, but how many people in here can relate to this? I go visit more much.
Yep.
Amen.
I'm sitting in my living room one day, and I tell you, the older I get, the less time I have seems like. I don't know if it's the world spinning a lot faster or something, but it seems to me like it's flying. Man, you know, and I'm sitting in the living room one day, and I was thinking, man, I really love to go see old so-and-so. God, I got so much to do. And you know what thought come into my mind? you got a telephone. Take a few minutes out of your time and call them up and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, how you doing? And I'm gonna make an open confession. I didn't do it that day. Well, I don't get tired of them whoopings. Because the Lord will whoop you for that. But I didn't do it that day. But the point that the Spirit was making to me and hopefully making to you is maybe you ain't got time to run to the hospital. Maybe you ain't got time to run down the road to the house. Maybe you ain't got time to do all. Maybe you can pick a phone up in the comfort of your own living room, sitting on your easy chair, still watching your Western out of the corner of your eye, and call them up and say, you all right? I love you. I miss you. What kind of difference would that make? If you're laying flat on your back and somebody calls and says, Barb, I hope you get feeling better, honey. I've been praying for you. Don't that make you feel good?
Yeah.
It makes you feel. Everybody has said to me, thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your visits. Thank you for the cards. Thank you for the things you did. It made them feel good. So why don't we do more of it? But here's Joshua.
Good point.
I want to get back to some of this. Here's Joshua in verse 1. All right, the city was shut up. The city was Jericho. It was shut up. Nobody was allowed to go in and out, and they were afraid because of the children of Israel. Number 2 says, the Lord said to Joshua, look here, Joshua. Look, Joshua, listen to me. I have given you this city. I've given it in your hands. Now, I don't know if you know much about the history of Israel and Jericho and all these great cities that existed during those days. But Jericho was a trade center. Jericho was a large city, and it had a reputation of high walls and great defense. It had an army. People were afraid of Jericho. But the children of Israel, they used the wisdom that God gave them to send spies in there first and spy out the land. In other words, they sent somebody ahead of them, go down and check it out, boys, and see what you think. If you think we can overthrow the city or not. And he sent those spies down there, and a few of them come back and say, oh, Lord have mercy, we can't defeat this city. We can't defeat them. They're too big, they're too large. But 2 men stood up and said, we can take them. We can take them. Hey, church, look out there at that world. Some of you are saying, man, I can't take it. I can't conquer it. We can conquer it, too. We can overcome it. We can take it. We got to believe God. God said, I will never see you tempted above that which you are able to bear, but with every temptation, I will make a way for your escape. Yes, we can overcome it.
Yeah, amen.
You can overcome the feelings of ill and talking about you. You can overcome these walls that hinder you from enjoying the fruits of God's labor.
Amen.
Not ours. We didn't do anything to deserve this. A free gift God's given us. What was we talking about in our lesson this morning when Paul said, not only will you be, I guess, sufferers of the cross, but you can also rejoice in the good things too. I can't remember exactly how it's quoted. I told you, my mind just don't work that good. I wish I had a photographic memory like some of these folks. Get up here and don't even carry a Bible. And just quote scripture after scripture after scripture. You follow them in the Bible fast as you can. They're going from here to little brother Alan get up here and start quoting. You know, here it is, here it is. And you're thinking, man, I wish I could do that. But we ought to quit coming in what everybody else can do and just do what God told us to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about that. I can't remember. God knows I can't remember it. But somebody in here told me, I can't remember if it was Stacy or somebody told me the other day, they read the Bible and then they forget what they was reading, but then when the time is needful for it, it just comes. You told me that once too, didn't you? Said it just comes. I can remember it. Or if I hear a preacher get up and he starts preaching, hey, I read that. So you see, it's important to read your Bible.
Right.
It's important to have a Bible study. It's important to go to church. Because today people think it's no big deal to miss church.
It is.
Now, I'm going to put this out there, and you take it for what it's worth. If you want to stop yours up, go ahead. I'm going to put it out there. All right? When I was growing up, when Mommy and Daddy set the table, mostly Mommy, if you didn't eat when it was on the table, you didn't eat. You didn't go back in there in the middle of the night and grab snacks. There was no snacks to grab. If there was a little bit of beans left from the supper, Mom would make bean cakes out of it, and we might get that later on. But when supper was on the table, you went to the table, and that's when you eat. Now, with that being said, that was for the nourishment of the natural body. And if you didn't eat, you'd die, right? The spiritual side of this is when supper is spread in the house of God, you need to come and eat. Amen. Or you're going to die.
That's right.
We've got a couple members here, I haven't seen them in a couple of months. Now, it's not widespread, we just got a few of them. And I know how blessed this church is. I really do. But we got some. And then they wonder, why this thing's happening? Why is my children acting this? Why is all this going on around me? Why don't my kids respect me? Why? And all these whys. Because you took them away from the instruction book.
That's true.
You took them away from what God wants you to train them. Train up a child.
Right.
In the way you'd have to go. Let me get off of that and get back to this. But it was neat. Verse 2, the Lord said, Joshua, look, man, I've given you this city. I've given it in your hands. And not only the city, but its kings and the mighty men of valor. Don't worry about that army. Here, not too long ago, it might have been in Reagan's presidency or Clinton's, Russia, I think it was. Put a big video out there for the whole world to see of their Russian army. And there was millions. Y'all, some of y'all might remember that. It was broadcast over Air Airways. And they were, I guess, just so obedient. And they were all in step with each other. Whatever that commanding officer said, they marched. I mean, it was really intimidating to look at that and see millions upon millions of people that are ready to fight. And yet, they won't fight the United States of America. You know why? Because God has given the world into their hands. Because they have defended Christianity. Because they have defended Israel. Because they have defended God's holy word. But they're giving all that away.
Yes, they are.
It's chipping away a little bit at a time. And there's going to come a day, and it's all fulfilling scriptures too. There's going to come a day when this great nation will fall. I don't want to be around to see it. I don't know about you. I hope the rapture takes me out of here before all this happens. I don't want to be around to see it, but it's going to fall. Every time the Dow Jones and all that stuff, money market, every time it drops just a tad, they go crazy up there on Wall Street. They go crazy. Oh my God, we dropped so many points. Then the next day they go back up, everybody's calm again. It's going to drop one of these days and it's going to stay there. Your dollar ain't going to be worth nothing. All the money you got in the bank won't be worth nothing. There's a prophecy that said in the tribulation period, it'd be a loaf of bread for a day's wages. I don't know how much you make a day. The last time that I worked in the coal mines, I think I was making, seemed to me like $122 a day. That was for the whole day. Would you like to pay $122 for a loaf of bread? A day's wages in that day was a penny. But we're so far advanced, right? Would you like to pay that? Right now, I think they're making $200 a day, some of these folks are. $150, $180, no. Would you like to pay that for a loaf of bread? You get hungry enough, you won't care about that money. You'll give it to them for that loaf of bread. That's what it's going to come to. Joshua said, or God told Joshua, said, I've given you them, given you the city, and the mighty men of valor. Now, in Joshua 8:1, let me read this to you real quick. In Joshua 8:1, it said, the Lord said unto Joshua, fear not, neither be thou dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee, and arise and go to Ai. See, I have given into thine hand the king of Ai and his people, and his city, and his land. Now this was a mighty city and a mighty army on the outskirts of Jericho. God also gave that to Joshua and the people. Gave it to them. You know why he gave it to them? because they were obedient, they were following His commandments. They were moving according to the instruction book. Are we moving in our life according to the instruction book? Are we doing it God's way? Roger made a statement a while ago, a hard lesson for him. He tried to lead Jesus a few times. Are we doing it God's way, or are we doing it our way? Go Frank Sinatra and then help us, son. I did it my way. You better start doing it God's way.
Amen.
You better start doing it God's way. I've had people tell me, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm going to speak my mind and I'm going to tell it like it is. So you go right ahead. You speak your mind. You tell it like it is. But you better tell it like the Bible says to tell it. You better do it God's way. We got some walls up around us, but the walls can come tumbling down. What was their instructions? The priest, here's God's instruction. Compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once, and do this for 6 days. Now this is what God told him to do. Now I don't know about you, but I kind of put my mind back to Jericho, and I kind of picture this thing going on. As the city was compassed about with the army of Israel. Now when you think of an army, you think of a lot of soldiers marching, right?
Right, yeah.
You know what these men of war had in their hands? They had swords, they had staffs, they had slingshots, whatever weapon that they could get their hands on. But they were indeed men of war. They were indeed ready to fight, to take that city. But there was something that they didn't have. They didn't have fear. They didn't have any fear. This army that they're facing is a mighty army. These men, I'm picturing them with armor. I'm picturing them with helmets to cover their head. I'm picturing them with swords and bow and arrows and different things that they had to defend themselves, catapults or whatever they used in those days. I'm picturing them as a mighty army, intimidating army.
Yep.
But for 6 days. Can you see them on the first day? They're out here in the camp, and the watchmen are up on the walls, and they're looking down at them. Keep an eye on them, boys. Don't let nobody in or out now. Let me know if they make a move. That's the instruction now. You let me know. And can you imagine as they watch them out there, the children of Israel sitting out there and maybe cooking a little bit of lamb or some fried chicken and just sitting there and eating and taking their time just in the camp. And all of a sudden they get up. And the priests start marching out. And the Ark of the Covenant begins to follow them. Now there's no doubt in my mind that they had those rods underneath that ark. They weren't allowed to come within so much of it. They couldn't touch it. But there's no doubt they had rods under there, and there was men at the ends of those rails carrying that ark.
Oh, yeah.
If God wanted it to walk on its own 2 feet, He can. As a matter of fact, He made it walk back to the camp one time, and when it was taken into captivity, and they got so scared of the ark that they said, "Oh God, let's send this back to the camp." And the ark itself went right back to where it come from. But can you imagine them up on that wall, and all of a sudden, the children of Israel stand up, hundreds of thousands. I believe they had an army of 300,000. It's over here in the 8th chapter you'll find it. They had an army of around 300,000 soldiers, valiant men. And all these got up, and they started marching around the wall. And those men looking out there, what are they doing? Something going on. Hey, boss, you got to check this out. What are they doing? And they marched around that city. Now, when you think about the city of Jericho, don't think about something the size of this church. Think about something the size of Charleston. Yeah. A city. Yeah. And they go marching around this wall. And the priests are carrying ram's horns that they call trumpets. And they're just blowing, playing some music. Music kind of mellows you out a little bit. You ever heard preachers, and I've said it here myself, the singing is kind of like,
Seasoning.
yeah, seasoning, thank you. It's kind of like seasoning for the message. It kind of mellows people out and gets them, in the mood. So here's the priests going around the walls, and they're blowing those trumpets. I love the sound of trumpets. Mike's song. I'm beginning to love the sound of trumpets. Remember me, you sing it for you a lot, didn't you? They blow those ram's horns, just marching along, and the children of Israel just marching just peacefully. They got, in their America, they've got marches going on all over the United States of America, peaceful marches they call them, to hold up their rights and their citizenship and so on and so forth. Here they go, marching around that city. First day, let's go right back to the camp, sit down, say, I'm ready for another piece of that chicken, boys. They ain't worried about Jericho, are they? They ain't worried about all those men standing up on that wall like this. They're not worried about nothing. The second day, they do the same thing. And Joshua said, for 6 days, they done that. And on the 7th day, they received instructions from Joshua. And he told the priest, he said, you go ahead and march around that city. As a matter of fact, march around it 7 times today. Today's going to be a little bit different. But Joshua already knew God had given him the city. Today's going to be a little bit different. Go around it 7 times today. And on the 7th time around, command the people to shout. I want you to know today, church, sometimes your troubles, your problems, your situations can be conquered with a shout. When I read this, I thought about the people down through my life as a Christian that has said to me, there ain't no reason in all that shouting and carrying on. There was a reason for it that day, wasn't there? You march around, and there was something different about the ram's horns too. He said you play, you blow that trumpet as you go around them 6 days, but on the 7th day and the 7th time, you make a long sound with the trumpet. And when the children of Israel hears that long note that you're holding, they will rise up and they will shout. Rise up, church! Shout! Amen. Yeah. Look the enemy in the eye and tell him, God hath given me the city.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
We're too quiet about this thing sometimes.
Bless you, Lord.
We're the winners.
Yep.
People have told me, said, I'm read the back of the book. Have you? If you read the back of the book and you know you're the winner, why do you sit in church sometimes like this and everything's all drawn down like you eat persimmons? We're the winners. We had the victory. The other day, did Marshall win something the other day? Was it Marshall or West Virginia? I don't follow ball game. Who was it? Dallas? Somebody won something that hadn't won something in a while, and the whole world was going, woo! Yeah, it was ball game. Was it played? The point, I don't care who it was, the point is, people that were sitting there like this, also on my team, when they won, they finally rose up and shouted. We're the winners. Hallelujah. I'm still going to stand by that old preacher man I heard years ago. Somebody don't shout, I'm going to shout by myself. When I leave this world, I hope the last thing that comes out of this mouth is a shout. I do. I hope if I'm on my deathbed and they got life support, I hope the last thing that I'm able to do is raise up out of that bed and shout, Hallelujah! The walls are torn down. I'm set free. Amen. These bars of bone are but a prison. Don't shake my These bars of bones are just a prison. And when the Lord calls me to come home, they got to let me go. Amen. You know what I'm talking about. A lot of you don't know the story about this little man right here. But I used to come down here and cut the grass every week. I'd be out there cutting grass. And I didn't know Larry real well then. I knew his family, but I didn't know Larry real well. He'd go up down this road on a four-wheeler. He had this little kid on in front of him there. And he said, finally he pulled in one day, and he said, this is my son, Chris. I ride him behind the church, right? He said, Daddy, let's go over there. And he'd say, no, son, we can't go over there. They're having church stuff. That's a church. He said, I want to go over there. I want to go to church there. See, out of the mouth of babes, God perfects Christ. Well, Larry didn't realize God was using Chris here to bring Mommy down and to bring Daddy down and get this family where they need to be. He used this child, and his heart is still where it needs to be. Someday he's going to be pastor around here if this place lasts long enough. You want to be? Amen. That's a good desire, brother. It's a good desire. And you keep that zeal in your heart. Now I want you to know something, and I don't want nobody to take no offense by this. He's on a ball team too. And he's got a game here in just a little bit. But he wanted to come to church before he went to that game.
Amen.
He continued to be that way. And I'm glad that his parents said, yes, son. I may be tired when I get out of that game. But yeah, we're going to go to church. We'll go to that game. Well, if that preacher ever shuts up. We'll go to that game. But I'm glad that you are doing that. You train these children in the way you want them to go. I know people, when I was a child here, I know people that had children the same age as we were. At that time, families had 8 and 9 kids. You know what the new census is in the United States of America? People are not having enough children. They're not having enough children. Most families are not having but one child, and some not having no children. There's not enough children being born to keep up with the population. You know what the real fear is? Not going to be enough taxpayers to keep paying. Not going to be enough. Well, maybe that's why they're bringing them from all over the world in here. I don't know. But now they're worried there's not enough. Over in China, they're worried that there's too many. We see the confusion of the world. Aren't you glad you're on the Lord's side? Amen. The priest went before the ark, the 7 trumpets of 7 ram's horns, and on the 7th day compassed the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpet. And when the priest blows with the trumpet, and it's a long sound of the trumpet, he told the children of Israel, he said, I want you, everyone, rise up and shout as loud as you can. Yeah. Woo! Some of these folks that told me ain't no use in running and jumping and hollering and shouting, man, they wouldn't want to be there that day, would they? Because the whole nation of Israel, 300,000 soldiers, not to mention thousands upon thousands of the nation of Israel, all rose up and at one time they all shouted. You know what would happen if every one of us got on our feet and shouted to the top of our voice? It might blow a light bulb. It may raise the roof up. And it may reach heaven. Amen. And God might say, what was that? And look right down at us. Oh, y'all ain't hearing me. When we rise up and shout in praise to Almighty God. Jen, you sing that old song, your cries have awoken the Master. Well, I want you to know something. I like that song, but I disagree with Awakening the Master because he never sleeps. He's not asleep. But he was making a reference to a time when Jesus was in the flesh and he went down the bottom of the ship and he went to sleep. And the ship got in trouble and got in turmoil and they began to cry out for God to save them, and it awoken the Master. They went down and said, "Carest not that we perish, O sleeper?" And Jesus rose up and said, "Peace, be still." Yeah. Hey, come on, storm. These are my people. It may storm all around you, but we're the people of God. We don't have no fear.
Praise the Lord. Amen.
Come on, folks. I don't fear what this world can do to me. They talk about me. I know that. Some folks even laugh. I've had people laugh. I've had people make fun of me right to my face. Embarrass me, hurts my feelings every now and then, but I don't care. I'm still going to keep on keeping on. If nobody else wants to go to heaven, I still want to go. Amen. I've got people waiting on me over there. I still want to go. Most of all, I want to see Jesus.
Amen.
Praise the
I
Lord.
want to see the only person that was ever born into this whole world from the beginning to the end. I want to see the only person that loved me enough that he died for me.
Amen.
There may be others. You know, I believe it's in Isaiah, maybe. But I know I read it. It said, "Scarcely would man lay down his life for his friend, peradventure for a righteous man, some would even lay their life down." You'd lay your life down for your son, your daughter, your children, wouldn't you? You'd lay your life down for your children. You'd lay your life down for your moms. I hope you would anyway. I know I wouldn't mind. I'm very proud to say that from birth until the time my mommy and daddy left her, I never backtalked them not one time. I didn't. And I'm over 60 now. My mommy was here and she said, "Come here, son, you're going to get a whipping." I walked right up to her and said, "Go ahead, Mommy."
Yeah.
Oh, if you think I deserve it, I must deserve it. I respected my mom and dad. I never talked back to them. I know I disappointed them a few times. Everybody does, don't they? But I never rebelled against them, and I never spoke to them in a harsh tone. And I'm proud of that. Some people's proud because they never smoked a cigarette. Some's proud because they never took a drink of alcohol. I'm proud because I never rebelled against my parents. I honor my mother and father. Maybe that's why I lived to be over 40. I never thought when I was a kid I'd get this far. I didn't. I've heard other people say, "Well, I didn't think I'd make it this long." Well, I didn't think I'd make it this long either. And especially be able to still get out and do basically what I want to do. I didn't think I would. But God has blessed me. And I believe it's because I honor my mother and father. He said, "Honor them that your days may be long on the earth." Now, I believe the Bible, don't you? I believe the Bible for what it says. I believe the Word is what? Truth. I believe the Word is truth. And when the Word says it, that settles it. That settles it. Somebody said to me, "The Word of God says it, I believe it, that settles it." No, the Word says it, and that settles it. Whether you believe it or not, that's it. I'm going to close this message. They went around on the 7th day, they marched 7 times, and on the 7th time, they all rose up and shouted. And it said the walls of the city fell down flat. Now what happened when the walls fell down flat? They was able to overtake the enemy. They took the city. They marched in there. And they overthrew Jericho. And they inherited Jericho. God gave that city to the children of Israel. That had no city, that had no continuing place. That wandered in the wilderness. That was in captivity for 400 years. They didn't have a place to call home. God gave them that city. And the next city was the city of Ai, like I told you, over in the 8th chapter. And He gave that to them. And it continued on and on. That's why there's still war going on in the Holy Land right now. Because these Arabian nations, they feel like that was their land. The children of Israel said, "No, God gave it to us." And that warfare is going to go on until Jesus Christ Himself marches into the city and overthrows them. That's what it says. The Bible will bear it out. And He will defeat all the enemies of Israel. I hope you got something out of this message. I hope and pray that if you got walls in your life that are hindering you from enjoying your salvation, that you will shout with a loud shout. Because the trumpet's about ready to sound, folks. Amen. Shout. Say, "Hey, the enemy may face me every day. He may tell me I'm nothing. He may tell me I'm not a Christian." Have anybody in here other than me ever had somebody kind of point at you and say, "You ain't never hit you ain't a Christian"? I've had it happen to me. I'm sure if you've been a Christian very long, you probably had people, because you won't give in to them, you won't give them. Okay, you're not a Christian. I've had people do me that way. And I just smile and say, "Oh, what I am. By the grace of God, I am what I am." It ain't important to me. It's important now, but it's not the most important thing to me, what you think of me. The most important thing to me is what God knows about me. And He knows my heart. He knows that I want to serve Him and I love Him. I love God with all my heart. I really do. This coming Tuesday, being Lord's will. Is that your report? Or is it? Brother Kevin will be preaching on Tuesday. And then next Sunday, being Lord's will. I know Alan's sick. He called me last night and told me he was sick. Next Sunday, hopefully he'll be over that. And it'll be his turn to preach. And Brother Robbie will be back on the 4th Sunday. All right, anything else I need to announce?
Good message.
We're going to get out of the 1st chapter of Corinthians, I promise you, sooner or later. If the Lord tarries, He's coming. If He don't, we don't need to get out of that nowhere, do we? All right. If all hearts and minds clear, then we'll go ahead and close. Everybody stand if you would. God dismisses.
Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this service. Thank you for each and every one to make their way out to our house. We ask you, Lord, to lead us and guide us with the Holy Spirit and help us to go in this appointed time to worship thee in spirit and truth. We ask these things in Jesus' holy name for his sake.